Good day everyone. So for today's discussion, we will have module 5. It's the isomers, okay? So for this topic, it is very important to be tackled under the pharmaceutical org chem because isomers can have a very different effects in the human body, even if they have the same formula. So for example, we have two drugs that have the same molecular formula, but the one treats disease while the other causes effects in the human body. And that is the importance of knowing what isomerism is. Next is the objectives of this topic. So at the end of our discussion, you must be able to know the different concepts of isomerism and also to understand the different types of isomerism. So we will be focusing more on the understanding and differentiating the different types, okay? Next is the introduction. So, it is written in there, we have these two words, the stereochemistry and the isomer. So, what is stereochemistry? It is a branch of organic chemistry that studies isomers. And what are isomers? These are the compounds that have the same number and kind of atoms, but different in terms of the arrangement of atoms. Let me give you an example for you to be able to understand it more. For example, we have the glucose and fructose. Both have a chemical formula of C6H12O6, but they are different substances. And that's what isomers is. So, it means that the atoms are arranged differently. Okay, copy? So, in easy analogy, think of the word listen and silent. Same letters, different arrangement, different meaning, and that is like isomers. Copy? They have same formula, but they have a different purpose. Okay? So, let's proceed with the different types of isomers, okay? So, we have two main types of isomer. Main, okay? They are the main branch of isomers. We have, first, the constitutional isomer, or also known as the structural isomer, while the other one is the stereoisomer. But, let's discuss what is constitutional isomers first, okay? So, for the constitutional, we have the following categories. We have the chain isomer, position isomer, and functional isomer. And what are these? Let's discuss them one by one on the following slides, okay? Still under the constitutional isomer, let's have the first one under this constitutional, okay? So, let's have the chain isomer. So, when we say chain isomer, this differs in carbon chain arrangement. Chain arrangement. So, you're looking for the structure of the compound. The difference is that in terms of the position of the substituent, okay? You're looking for the difference in terms of the attachment, the location attachment of your substituent, or it differs on the kind of structure that is formed for this compound. But in terms of the chemical formula, they are very the same. It just differ in terms of the arrangement or structure. The following examples we have is the N-butane and the isobutane. The attachment of the methyl is on the different position. Like for example, on the N-butane, where is the substituent located? It is attached to the second and third. While for the isobutane, it is located on the what position? It's on the second carbon. That's why the other name for this isobutane is 2-methyl propane. Okay? While on the right side, we have the following examples. We have the pentane, the isopentane, and the neopentane. If you will observe the three, the first one is in the straight chain, while the other two is in the branch chain. Okay? And it differs also in the location of the substituent. Okay? Copy. Next, still under the constitutional isomer, let's have the second category, and that is your position isomer. So for this one, when we say position isomers, they have the same functional group but in different position. For the chain isomer, you're looking for the structure or arrangement of the compound, but for this one, you're looking for the position of the substituent wherein it focuses on the functional group. Copy? So, for example, we have one propanol and two propanol. They are both propanol, but the location of the functional group differs in terms of the location. Copy? So, other examples are the one flashed on this slide, wherein we have the 2-aminophenol, 3-aminophenol, and the 4-aminophenol. They are all same aminophenol. It's just that the attachment of the functional group is on the different position. They only differ in terms of the position where the functional group is attached. Copy? Same with the 1-chloropropane and 2-chloropropane. They are both chloropropane, but they just differ in terms of the position where it is located or where the functional group is attached or located. Copy? When we say position, they are both same compound. It's just that it differs in terms of the position where the functional group is attached. Okay? Copy? Next, still under the constitutional isomer, let's have the last category or the third category under this one. So, let's have the functional isomer. So, when we say functional isomer, they have different functional groups. Okay? They have same chemical formula, but they have different functional groups. Okay? So, for example, we have the alcohol and ether. Alcohol versus ether. Both have the same formula, but they have a different functional groups. Okay? For example, another is the ethanol and the dimethyl ether. A very specific example of alcohol and ether. Ethanol is an alcohol, dimethyl ether is an ether. So, they have a same chemical formula of C2H6O, but they are two different compounds. Okay? Because they have two different functional groups. Okay? Copy? They have different functional group, means they have different chemical behaviors as well. Okay? Another example, we have the one flash on the screen, wherein alkene versus cycloalkane. Okay? They have the same formula of C3H6, but they are two different compounds. Because prop1 in is a alkene, while the one on the right side is a cycloalkane. Both have a same chemical formula, but they have two different functional groups. Okay? Copy? The difference of this one from the position isomers is that for the position isomers, you're just looking for the different position of your functional group. But for this one, there is a complete different functional group. Copy? So, another example, we have the aldehyde and ketone that is flashed also on this screen. So, we have the propionaldehyde and the propan 2 on 1. Okay? So, they have both similar chemical formula of C3H6O, but they have different functional group. The one on the left has an attached aldehyde, while the one on the right is a ketone functional group. Copy? They have two different functional groups. For the chain, you're just looking for the structure or arrangement. For the position, they have same chemical formula and chemical compound. It's just that it differs in terms of the attachment location of your functional group or substituent. But for the functional isomers, they have same chemical formula but different functional group that is attached on each compound. Copy? Still under the third category of the constitutional isomer, wherein this is the functional isomer. Another examples, okay? So on these slides, we have the two other examples, okay? So we have the alcohol and ether. I have mentioned in the previous slide the example of ethanol and dimethyl ether. But for this one, we have the propan-1-ol or propanol and the methoxyethane. Both they have the same chemical formula of C3H8O, but they have two different functional groups. They are same in terms of chemical formula, but the functional group that is attached on each structure are two different, okay? The one attached on the left is an alcohol or the OH that is attached in it, while on the ether, it's the ether. Copy? Next, we have the carboxylic acid versus the ether. So, they both have the same chemical formula of C2H4O2, but they have two different functional groups that is attached on it. The one attached on the acetic acid is a carboxylic acid, while the one attached on the right side is an ester. Copy? They have the same chemical formula, but if you will check the structure, there are two different functional groups. Okay? They differ in terms of the functional group that is attached on the structure. Copy? Next slide, we have the tautomers, okay? So, for this one, these tautomers are special functional isomer, okay? So, they differ only in the position of the hydrogen and the position of the double bond. For example, we have the keto form versus the enol form, okay? So, let's go to the next slide for me to be able to discuss it more, okay? More better, okay? So, on this slide, we have the tautomers examples, and I have mentioned in the previous slide the enol and keto. Okay? So, when we say keto and enol form, if you will observe the examples on this slide, there is the change in terms of the position of the double bond and the hydrogen position. Okay? So, for the enol form, if you will observe this one, the attachment of the hydrogen have differed in terms of the keto form. Okay? And also, there are changes in terms of the double bond from the enol form to the keto form. Copy? Same as with the lactam to lactim form and amide to imidic acid form. Also for the amine to imine form. There are changes in terms of the hydrogen position and the position of your double bond. If you have observed, there is the change of the two, therefore it is called as tautomers. Copy? Next slide, we have the Lobrin-de-Bruyn von Aquitaine transformation. So for this one, it is the base that is being catalyzed through isomerization of sugars, where there is an aldose that is converted to a ketose and there is a different epimers. Usually this is on the C2, okay, of the structure, okay? And then it can be interconverted. And it happens through a keto-enol tautomerism via an enediol intermediate, okay? So, what usually happens for this transformation? under the basic condition, there is the sugar that is formed through an enolate ion, and also there is the arrangement of the enodiol. And the enodiol can be therefore converted into the original aldose to a ketose and to another aldose at the epimer of the second carbon, or C2. Okay? So the classic example for this transformation is the D-glucose, D-fructose, and the D-mannose. All three are interconverted through an enodiol intermediate. Copy? So for this one, it just explains why reducing sugar can change their structure in the solution. And it is very important for you to know this one because it is associated with the carbohydrate chemistry. Okay? Very relevant in the laboratory because we use sugar as a sample in the lab and we observe for the different reactions like in the Benedict's test. Okay? So next, let's go back to tautomers. Okay? So when we say tautomers, okay, or tautomerism, it is a type of chemical equilibrium where the compound rapidly shifts between two forms, and that is the keto form and the enol form. So the keto form contains a carbonyl group, and take note, the keto form contains a carbonyl group while the enol form contains a double bond carbon to carbon and an alcohol group that is attached to the double bond. And these two forms are called tautomers. Okay? If it is containing a carbonyl group, therefore it is a keto form. And it is an enol form if it contains a carbon-to-carbon double bond and if it has an alcohol group attached to the double bond. Copy? You can now distinguish whether it is a keto form or enol form. You just have to look for the carbonyl group and the carbon-to-carbon double bond and also the alcohol group. Okay? If they exist in a one form, therefore you can now distinguish whether it is a keto form or enol form. Next, let's proceed with the second main type of isomer. So we have the stereoisomers. So what is this stereoisomer? So these are the compounds that have the same molecular formula and they have the same connectivity. So what do we mean when we say connectivity? It has a same bonds, okay? But they differ in terms of the TD spatial arrangement of the atoms. And we have different categories under this main type. We have the conformational isomer, or also known as the conformers or rotamers, and also we have the configurational isomer. So let's discuss them one by one, okay? Next slide, we have the first category under the stereoisomers, and these are the conformers or the conformational isomers. So they are defined in terms of the differences due to the rotation around the single bonds. So there are no bonds that is broken, only rotation happens for this one. And we have the following categories under the conformers. We have the acyclic and the cyclic conformers. And there are subcategories for each of it. Okay? So let's discuss them one by one on the following slides. Next slide, we have the first subcategory under the acyclic conformers, and that is the Newman's projection formula. So let me reiterate what is the meaning of stereoisomers and what are this Newman and Sohor's projection. So when we say Newman projection and Sohor's projection, these are both just a drawing or drawing style to show how atoms are arranged when you rotate around a single bond of carbon to carbon bond. It shows the rotation of the single carbon to carbon bond, how it rotates, okay? So no bonds are broken. We are only looking at the molecule from the different angle. We're just looking how the molecule would look like if you position it on the other location or position. Okay? We often use this one in examples such as ethane and butane. Okay? So let's proceed in discussing what is Newman's projection formula. So for this one, if you are standing in front of the carbon to carbon bond and you're looking straight at it, the front carbon will be drawn as a dot and the back carbon will be drawn as a circle or zero, okay, or O, okay, and the groups are drawn around them. So this kind of drawing style will help you to see if the groups are staggered or if it is spread out, therefore it is more stable. But if it is an ellipse form, therefore it is overlapping. Therefore, it is less stable. You're looking or drawing the style of the style of your compound in an easier way for you to be able to easily identify if it is stable or not stable. That is the only purpose of knowing these stereoisomers or conformational isomers. Just to identify if it is stable or less stable by just drawing it in a simpler form of using dot and circles. Okay? So it is best for checking which form is more stable. Copy. Again, still under the Newman's projection formula. So for this one, as you can see, I have discussed this one on the previous slide. If you will look for these structures or example, that is the one that I have discussed in the previous slide. Okay? If I have mentioned in the previous slide that it is more stable if the hydrogen is spread out evenly. But if there is the overlapping of the hydrogen, therefore it is less stable. By drawing in this way, or by drawing using the Newman's projection formula, you can identify if it is stable or not. If it is staggered, therefore it is more stable. If it is in ellipse form or overlapping, therefore it is less stable. Copy. This one is just does have the same explanation I have discussed on slide number 15. Okay? Still under the Newman's projection formula, if you will observe these different structures or projection formula, Newman's projection formula, which among the four is the more stable? Is it figure 1, 2, 3, or 4? It's the first two because they are distributed well without any overlapping compared to the third figure and to the fourth figure. Okay? Do you get the point for the Newman's projection formula? You just have to look if it spreads out evenly or if there's an overlapping. If there's an overlapping, it is less stable. If it is well distributed without any overlapping, therefore it is more stable. Copy. Gets? Did you get the point for this Newman's projection formula? Okay? So that's all for the Newman's projection formula. Okay? Still under the conformational isomers, we're already on the second subcategory of the conformers, wherein that is the Sohor's projection formula. So for this one, you just have to imagine that you're looking at the molecule from the side at an angle, okay? So both carbons are visible, bond is drawn slanted, and it looks like more like a real 3D molecule. So it is easier for you to picture it as a whole structure, okay? So the main difference of the Sawhorse and the Newman is that the Newman focuses on the front view for the stability of the comparison, while for the Sawhorse, you're looking at the side view because it's for the 3D picture that you're imagining. Copy? So that is an easy way for you to memorize what is the difference of the Sawhorse and the Newman. Newman, it's the front view. For the Sawhorse, it's the 3D version or view. Copy? Next slide, we have this example or figure to show you how Sawhorse projection formula is, okay? So for this figure, we have three forms. We have the chair form, twist boat form, and the boat. Okay? All of the three are cyclohexane in the different forms. And I'll be discussing the three, which among these three is the most stable, okay? So same as with the Newman's projection formula, for you to be able to know which among the three is the most stable, you just have to check which among the figures is well distributed. If it is staggered, therefore it is more stable. If it has more overlapping, therefore it is less stable compared to the one with equally distribution. Okay? So you just have to check which among the three is well distributed and which among the three is the most messy, okay, in terms of the structure. And if you will be looking on these three structures, which among the three is the more stable or the most stable among the three, it's the chair form, okay, because the carbon and hydrogen are well distributed. Okay, did you get it? Okay. And the second one is the, which one is the second stable? Is it the twist boat or the boat form? Actually, the one that is parang naglalaban is the twist boat and boat form, because we have already categorized that chair form is already stable, okay, or more stable or most stable, okay. So in terms of the twist boat, if you will observe them, okay, so gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, you just have to observe which among the structure has an overlapping. So the boat is positive for overlapping, same as with the twist boat form. It has also an overlapping. So which among the two is the next or has a medium stability? It's the twist boat. Okay? Because if you will check for the blue color highlight for each structure, there is more overlapping on the boat form compared to the twist boat. Okay? So the least stable among the three forms is the boat form. Did you get the point? Most stable is the chair form, followed by the twist boat, and the least stable is the boat form of cyclohexane. Did you get the point? You just have to check among the structure which among them is well distributed and which among the three is the most messy or it consists more overlapping. Did you get the point? Okay? So for the Newman, it focuses on the front form or image, while for the Sawhorse form, it focuses on the side view because it is in 3D. Okay? So if you will observe the structures of the Sawhorse, they look like a zigzag form. because they are in 3D form. Did you get the point? Copy? Copy? Okay, thank you. Next, let's proceed with the second category under the stereoisomers. We have the configurational isomers. So what is this configurational isomers? So these are stereoisomers that cannot change into each other unless the chemical bond is broken. Unlike the conformational that there's the need for the rotation only, for this one it requires bond breaking and reforming. And we have two types under the configurational, and that is the optical and geometric isomer. Let's discuss these two on the next slides, okay? Next slide, we have the optical isomers, and under optical isomers, the first one is the enantiomers, where the molecules mirrors the image, but it is not superimposable like left and right hand, okay? And it also have a chiral carbon wherein the carbon is attached to the 4 different groups. And it rotates in a plane polarized light. And a good example for an enantiomer under the optical isomers is a lactic acid. And you have to take note that they have the same physical properties like in the melting point and boiling point. And also, they differ in terms of the optical rotation because they are categorized under optical isomers, and they differ as well in terms of the biological activity. And it is very important for you to take note that in pharmacy, enantiomers are the one form that may be active and the other less active or harmful na. Okay? Copy? Gets? So still under the optical isomers, so I have already mentioned the ability of the molecule to rotate in terms of the plane polarized light in the previous slide. So if you will designating rotation on the plane polarized light, you can use positive and negative signs to designate the rotation, okay, of the molecule or the chiral molecule. So you can use positive sign if the rotation is dextro, and you can use negative sign if the rotation is levo, okay? And in terms of the racemic mixture, if it is optically inactive compound, therefore it is equal to the mixture of your D form and L form. You just have to take note of that, okay? Next, still under the optical isomers, we have the configuration. So when we say configuration, it refers to the 3D arrangement of the atoms around the stereocenter, wherein that is your chiral carbon. And this stereocenter is usually the carbon that is attached to the 4 different groups. So changing the configuration requires the breaking of the bond, and it cannot be changed by simple rotation. Okay, so what we have the system that we call Cannes-Goldberg system, or the CIP system. So this is being used to determine the configuration of the stereocenter. So by assigning the priorities from 1 to 4 based on the atomic number, the position from the lowest priority at the back. Okay, so you have to trace 1 to 2 to 3. If it is counterclockwise, you can use the letter R. And if it is counterclockwise, you can use the letter S to designate the configuration. Okay? So the R and S describe the spatial arrangement only. They are not the same as the positive or negative optical rotation. Okay? So this configuration tells us how many atoms are arranged in the space around a chiral carbon, and this arrangement can affect the molecule's biological activity. Okay? Copy? Next slide, still under the optical isomers, we have the eutomer and the diastomer. Okay? So, The eutomer is the good version wherein these are the mirror images form of a drug that gives the desired medical effect, and it works properly in the human body. While for the diastomer, this one is the less useful, or sometimes we call the bad version, and it may have no effect or could even cause a side effect. In very simple term, some of the medicines come in two mirror image form, one form that works well, the eutomer, and the other form that may not work or may cause a problem, that is the diastomer. Okay? So even if there are two molecules that looks very similar, their effects in the body can be different. Okay? Did you get the point? So if the one form can work well, it is eutomer. If it has a side effect or does not have any pharmacological effect, therefore it is diastomer. Okay? Copy? Okay, so after we have discussed the eutomer and diastomer, okay, so let's have this following examples for you to be able to understand it more. Okay, kindly take note of the important notes that I'll be saying. Okay, so the first image is the R-levocetirizine and the X-dextrocetirizine. So the R-levocetirizine serves or classified as the eutomer. So when we say eutomer, it has a pharmacological effect. And when we say diastomer, it has a side effect or it doesn't have any pharmacological effect. Okay? So for the R-levocetirizine, it gives the desired medical effect or it works better compared to the dextrocetirizine, while the dextrocetirizine is less active or it can cause a side effect. So even though the structure looks almost identical, one works better in the body. Okay? So next example, we have the thalidomide, the S-thalidomide, and the R-thalidomide. Okay? So the S-thalidomide is labeled as teratogenic and the R-thalidomide is labeled as a sedative one. So when we say R-thalidomide, since it is a sedative, it helps the person to sleep. While the S-thalidomide, it is labeled as teratogenic, therefore it causes a birth defects. Okay? So this example shows how dangerous stereochemistry can be because two mirror image molecules, one can be useful and one can cause a serious harm. Okay? Still under optical isomers, we have the diastereomer. So when we say diastereomer, these are the molecule that is not a mirror image of another molecule. And they are also non-superimposable. It means they cannot perfectly overlap. Okay? Overlap. Okay? So they usually have at least two chiral centers and they have a different physical and chemical properties. So in simpler explanation, if enantiomers are like your left and right hands, they mirror images or they are mirror images of each other. And if it is a diastereomers, okay, so your left hand and your left foot is a good example. They are different but not mirror images. Copy? So, in diastereomers, some of the chiral centers may be the same, some may be different, but they are not exact mirror images because diastereomers have different melting points, boiling points, solubility, and they can behave differently in chemical reactions. Okay? So that's why the difference between diastereomers from enantiomer is that it is usually very similar in terms of the physical properties except on how they rotate on the plane polarized light. Okay? Next, we have the epimer under the optical isomers pa din. So, what is epimer? These are the type of diastereomer wherein these are the stereoisomers that are not mirror images. That they are differ in terms of the configuration at only one specific chiral carbon out of the several in a molecule. So, what do we mean by that? Unlike anomers, epimers can exist in both the open chain and cyclic form. And they are very common in sugars. Okay? So, what is the main point on epimer? So, the difference at one carbon only have one chiral center that is different between the two molecules. And all the chiral centers are therefore identical. And there is no mirror images. Okay? Therefore, epimers are diastereomers, not enantiomers. Copy? Gets? Next, let's proceed with epimers. So, let's first discuss the one on the right upper side. So, let's compare first the D-mannose and the D-glucose. If you will check the carbon 2 of the D-mannose, the OH is on the left side. Well, if for the D-glucose, the OH is on the right side. Therefore, it is called as the epimer at C2 or carbon 2. Okay? While for the D-glucose and D-galactose, if you will check the structure, the OH at the carbon 4 for the D-glucose is at the right side. While for the D-galactose, it's on the left side. The OH is on the left side. And all the others are on the same side already. So therefore, it is called as the epimers at carbon 4. Okay? So the very important note that you have to remember for this one is that even though there is a small difference in terms of the structure, even if it is just an OH position, it matters because it can change the property of the compound. What kind of property it can affect? It can affect the taste, the metabolism, as well as the biological function. And that's how sensitive the human body is to stereochemistry. Okay? Next example, we have the epirubicin and the doxorubicin. So what is the difference of the two in terms of the structure? Kindly check the OH among the two structure. Okay? So, these two are both anti-cancer drugs. You have to take note of that. And they are most likely to be identical drugs. But what is the difference among the two is the one chiral carbon. So, the OH group on the epirubicin is on what? Upper position. And for the doxo, it's on the lower position. So, the OH is flipped. If it is flipped, the flip position of your OH for these two samples can affect or can have a difference. Okay? So, when we say difference, it has an effect. By how? What I have mentioned a while ago, it can change the behavior. But since it is a medicine, it can affect the toxicity and how this medicine can be processed inside the human body. That's why we're studying stereochemistry on this module. Okay? Did you get the point? A small changes can cause a change. Okay? Still under the optical isomers, we have the anomer. So anomers are special type of stereoisomers wherein they are specifically under the optical isomers wherein they are found in cyclic sugar. Okay, kindly take note. They are found in cyclic sugar and they are special types of stereoisomer under optical isomer. So they only differ in terms of the configuration at the anomeric carbon, or it is the carbon that was the carbonyl carbon in the open chain 4. And the anomeric carbon is usually on the C1 in aldoses like the glucose and C2 in ketoses in fructose. Copy? So I have discussed what is anomer in the previous slide. So let me discuss this figure to you, okay? So in terms of the formation of the cyclization kasi of sugar, sugars like glucose or fructose can cyclize to form a ring, and this creates a new chiral center at the carbonyl group, and this is called the anomeric carbon. And we have different types of anomers. We have the alpha anomer and the beta anomer. So what is the difference of the two in terms of structure? If you will observe the alpha D-glucose and the beta D-glucose, what is the difference of the two? It's the position of your OH. Look at the position. The alpha D-glucose, the OH is on the same side, while for the beta D-glucose, it's on the opposite side. The position of the OH is on the opposite side. Okay? So if it is in same side, it is an alpha anomer, and if it is in opposite side, it is a beta anomers. Copy? So if you will observe the two, again, the alpha anomer, the OH of the anomeric carbon is on the opposite of the CH2OH group or trans. While for the beta anomer, the OH is on the anomeric carbon is on the same side as the CH2OH group or the cis. Copy? Same as with the alpha D-glucopyranose and the beta D-glucopyranose. The position of the OH on the alpha is on the same position, while for the OH of the beta D-glucopyranose, it's on the opposite side. Okay? That's why it is beta, opposite. Copy? Still under the optical isomers, we have the mesocompounds. So these mesocompounds are the special case of optical isomers. You just have to take note of that. It's a special case of optical isomers, and the molecules have a chiral centers, but they are optically inactive due to the internal symmetry. And a good example for this one is the mesotartaric acid. You just have to take note what I am saying. You don't have to memorize everything that is written on the PowerPoint. What I am saying are the most important information that you have to take note. Okay? Next category under configurational isomers is the second one, wherein that is the geometric isomer. So what is this geometric isomer? So they are due to the restricted rotation because they are usually in double bonds or rings, and they are groups that is arranged differently in the space. So a good example for this one is the 2-butene. So we have cis-2-butene, wherein the groups are on the same side. So that's why you have used cis or CIS, okay, as the distinction of the position of the double bonds, okay, or the functional group is on the same side, okay. While for the trans-2-butene, the groups are on the opposite sides. That's why you have used the term trans, okay, because the functional group or the main functional group is on the opposite side. That's why you have used the trans, okay. So they have different physical properties as well as they have different stability, okay. Did you get the point? So if it is optical, you're talking about the chirality of the carbon. So if it has a mirror images or not. But if it is a geometric isomers, you're talking about the double bond or the ring. Okay? So you will be checking if it is cis or trans. If it is in same position, therefore it is a cis, and if it is in two opposite position, therefore it is a trans. So I have mentioned in the previous slide the difference of the cis and trans. If it is in same position, you can use the word cis or CIS, and trans if it is in two opposite position. We have the following examples on these slides wherein we have on the left side we have the 1,2-dimethyl cyclopropane and the trans 1,2-dimethyl cyclopropane. So the difference, kindly take a look of the pink font color wherein that is the methyl. Okay, so the methyl on the cis 1,2-dimethyl cyclopropane is on the same position of up position, while for the trans, the first methyl is on the up position while the second methyl is on the down position. That's why it is called as the trans 1,2-dimethyl cyclopropane. You will be checking the position of the main functional group if they have the same position or not. If they have the same position, therefore you can use the word cis. If the position of the two main functional group is on the opposite side, therefore you can use the term trans. Okay? Did you get the point? Copy? Okay. So next slide next figure we have the cis-2-butene and the trans-2-butene. So if you will be checking the substituent wherein that is the methyl in there, okay, or the CH3, the position of the CH3 on the cis-2-butene is on the upward position. So are they in the same position? Yes, that's why you have used the cis-2-butene. While for the trans-2-butene, the first CH3 is on the upward position and the other one is on the downward position. Therefore, you will use the word trans because they are in two different positions. Did you get the point? Copy? Okay, thank you. Still under the geometric isomers, we have the EZ system. So this EZ system is the modern way of naming a geometric isomers in alkenes. Okay? So these are the compounds with carbon-to-carbon double bonds. So we use it kasi when the cis or trans is not clear, especially if there are 4 different groups that is attached. Okay? So why do we need EZ system? For example, we have the 2-butene as an example. For simple kinds kasi of alkenes, we can say that cis is on the same side and trans is on the opposite side. But when the groups are different, cis-trans is confusing. So that's why we use the EZ system. So how do we determine if it is an E or Z? Through a step-by-step. So the first step is for you to assign the priority using the CIP rule. So look at the two groups that is attached to each carbon or to each carbon of the double bond. So the higher the atomic number, the higher the priority. So you will be looking at the atomic number of the element that is attached. So what is the hierarchy of this element? So it will be bromine, chlorine, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, and hydrogen. Copy? Kaya take note. Ulitin natin. Bromine, chlorine, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, hydrogen. Copy. So the second step, you have to compare which is the high priority groups. Okay? So for now, for the second step, you have to look at the two highest priority groups on each carbon. Remember, we will be doing the EZ system if we have four different groups that is attached on the structure. Okay? It will be a lot easier for us to follow this rule for you to distinguish if it is a cis or trans, okay? So, after looking at the two highest priority group on each carbon or in the structure, therefore, if they are on the same side, therefore, you can use the Z. Okay? You will term it as the Z. Instead to be called as the cis, it will be Z. Z means Zusamen. Okay? So, Z kasi it means Zusamen. Z-U-S-A-M-M-E-N. Okay? So, if the position of the two highest priority group is on the opposite side, you can term it as a letter E. What is the meaning of E? In the easy system, it's ent. Again. Okay? It's E-N-T-G-E-G-E-N. Okay? If it is on the same side, you can use the Z. If it is on the opposite side, you can use the E. Copy? Or on the other term, if it is a cis, for the easy system, it will be the letter Z. If it is the trans or opposite, it will be the letter E. Did you get the point? So, for example, no, it's just a same thing for the cis and trans. But if there are more than two functional groups present on the structure, you have to identify the highest priority group. By how? By determining the charges, okay? The charges or the atomic number. The higher the atomic number, the higher priority it is. And the second step, you have to compare the priority group. Okay? So, you have to encircle which among the group present on the structure is the highest priority. And then after that, you can now distinguish and label it whether it is AZ or E. Copy? Gets? Okay. So, that ends our discussion for isomers. So, to summarize everything that I have discussed, isomers have the same formula but differ in terms of the arrangement. And we have two major categories or two main categories, and that is the constitutional isomers and stereoisomers. So, we studied this one because in pharmacy, understanding these isomers is very important because structures affects the drug activity. Okay, copy. So I hope you have learned a lot from this discussion. For any questions, you just have to chat me or email me, okay? And I'll try to reply ASAP with the concerns or questions, okay? Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.